Om Swastiastu. We are from small group discussion B10 and now we are gonna do a presentation about blood vessel development. These are our members. Alright, my name is Chokore Sri Agung Sukwati and my name is 2102511252. Our body consists of approximately 60,000 miles of blood vessels. They bring blood all through the body and supply blood to all of the organs and tissue. The blood carries nutrients and oxygen that makes the organ and tissues do their role, and blood vessels bring waste product and carbon dioxide away from the organs and tissues. Arteries, arterioles, capillaries, venules, veins, all of these 5 kinds of blood vessels have different roles. As writers, we are interested in bringing up this subject because this subject is interesting and is believed to bring a lot of benefits. As a result, we bring up this topic of blood vessel development. And we have 6 problem identification. And these are the purpose. And this is the benefit.
Hello, my name is Putri Chandra and my last 3-digit name are 240. Structure and function of blood vessels. First one, arteries. Arteries are responsible for supplying blood and nutrients to organs. Arteries are always under high pressure and therefore have more elastic tissue and smoother muscles than veins. High systemic pressure and low volume are characteristic of the arterial system. Second one, arterioles. Arterioles have the function of distributing blood flow to the base capillaries. As hemodynamic regulators, arterioles contribute to the upstream pressure in local distribution. The arteriole wall consists of 3 structurally distinct layers, namely the intima, media, and adventitia. Thank you.
My name is Putri Fricillia Wijaya with 3 last digit name is 241. I will be continuing the explanation about capillaries, venules, and veins. Capillaries is a microscopic channel that connect arterioles and venules with a process called division. They exchange gases, nutrients, and metabolites. And the next one is venules. Venules are the smallest vein that receive blood from capillaries and trade oxygen with supplements of water products. A group of venules can form a vein. And lastly, there's veins, which have a job to carry a large volumes of deoxygenated blood in a low pressure from tissue back to the heart. Veins have a characteristic that are thin-walled, less elastic, and closer to the skin. That is all from me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Gusti Agung Ayu, Adinda Fidelia Tresna Putri, with my last 3 digits name are 232. So today I will explain about the mechanism of blood vessels formation, which is the first one is vasculogenesis. So vasculogenesis refers to the de novo synthesis of blood vessels through the differentiation of endothelial precursor cells that happens during the embryonic development. Vasculogenesis is responsible for the formation of the heart and the first primitive vascular plexus within the embryo and its surrounding membranes, as well as the yolk sac circulation. And the important point is that endothelial precursor cells are the basic cells that begin the vasculogenesis. The formation of these endothelial cells occurs during the separation of the mesodermal cells. They increase the release of fibroblast growth factors, which allows precursor cells to differentiate into blood vessels. The cells develop from the mesoderm, and mesodermal cells eventually develop into endothelial progenitor cells. Then, they form a network of blood vessels using cells produced from the hematopoietic stem cells. And for the additional information that genetics also has an impact on vasculogenesis. I think that's all about my explanation. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Fiona Natania Santoso with my last 3-digit student ID are 249. Now I'll continue the explanation of angiogenesis. So, angiogenesis is a formation of a new generation blood vessels from pre-existing vasculature using the spreading of endothelial cells thus expanding tree-like vasculature. And it is important for wound repair and the provision of ischemic tissue. The mechanism itself can be classified by direct and indirect angiogenesis. The direct angiogenesis is derived from the direct binding between interleukin and its receptors on endothelial cells, which leads to the induction of angiogenesis. And the indirect angiogenesis is derived from interleukin, which induces polarization of macrophages and the secretion of vascular endothelial growth factors, and this leads to the same endpoint of angiogenesis. So that's all from me, and the further explanation about angiogenesis will be explained by my friend. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Zacky Ar-Rafi Aidy. So, the mechanism of angiogenesis include production of protease, proliferation, and migration of endothelial cell, follicular tube formation, and maturation, which include incorporation of pericyte and smooth muscle cells. After the endothelial cells are activated by angiogenetic stimuli, proteolytic enzymes are produced, which will degrade the perivascular extracellular matrix and the base membrane. Then, the endothelial cells multiply and move to the perivascular area, creating a primary sprouts. Elimination of these primary sprouts induce the formation of capillary loops, which is followed by synthesis of new base membrane and blood vessel maturation to complete tube-like structure through which blood can flow. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Agung, Istri, and Anggreni, and my last digit name is 233. Now I will explain about the difference between vasculogenesis and angiogenesis. The most fundamental difference between vasculogenesis and angiogenesis is in the terms of definition. Vasculogenesis is defined as the differentiation of endothelial precursor cells, or angioblasts, into endothelial cells and in the formation of primitive vascular tissue. Vasculogenesis has a function in the embryonic development of the circulatory system and also the repair of injured brain or heart tissue. Meanwhile, angiogenesis is the new formation of new blood vessels from existing blood vessels and has a function to repair injured tissue and is also a way for cancer cells to spread from the initial tumor site. Next. And if you want to know more information about the difference between vasculogenesis and angiogenesis, you can be seen in this slide. That's all that I can say, and for the next explanation will be explained by my friend. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ketut Putri with your last digit name 235. Now we're going to be talking about remodeling and maturation of blood vessels. Blood vessels remodeling is when blood vessel structure and its arrangement will be changed. The aim for this activity to maintain the interrupt artery to be safe and make up a new vascular wall. This occurs in 4 steps. First is cell growth, second cell death, third cell migration, and 4 is extracellular matrix. But this activity also occurs when inflammation is happening, and also embryo and placenta when the heart is pumping for the first time, which both of these activity will cause the wall and blood vessels to dilate. This activity will have a light to heavier result, for example, hypertension. That's it for blood vessels remodeling, and we move to the next slide. Thank you.
My name is Ariela Keisarjo with SGD name 247. Now I will explain about blood vessels maturation. Maturation is a response to increases in blood flow. Maturation of blood vessels assessed by the ratio of parasite coverage to total vascular area fraction. After the clotting mechanism takes place, followed by the fibroblast phase or fibroblast proliferation, the clot can be facilitated by fibroblasts and collagen, which then form collagen tissue. Later in the remodeling process, the strength of the collagen fibers increase. In fibroblast phase, the wound is filled with creating cells, fibroblasts, and collagen, also formation of new blood vessels or angiogenesis, forming granulation tissue. With the closure of the wound surface, the process of fibroblastia will stop, and the maturation process will stop in the remodeling phase. Maturation process consists of absorption of more tissue, shrinkage according to gravity, and finally remodeling of the tissue. Edema and cells are absorbed, young cells mature, the capillaries close and reabsorb, collagen is exist, and the rest is according to the magnitude of the stretch. This phase can last 4 months and is declared over when all signs have disappeared. Blood vessels maturation is affected by various factors such as size and depth of the wound, the stage of the wound tissue, whether necrotic or non-vital, and whether or not granulation tissue has been formed with exudative or minimal exudation with bacterial colonization or not. Edge and skin around the wound such as color, moisture, and flexibility. Other factors are angiopoietin 1 for maturation of new blood vessels when new blood vessels are less sensitive to VEGF, angiopoietin 2 to make new blood vessels more sensitive to VEGF, transforming growth factor or VEGF-beta to increase blood vessels maturation and extracellular matrix production, and Fn B2 for maturation and differentiation of blood vessels. I guess that's all from me. The next explanation will be presented by my friend. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Putri Arta with three last digit names number 238. So, I will continue the presentations about the role of oxygen in blood vessels development. So, oxygen tension is a crucial factor in new vessel growth, with regions of hypoxia which induce the expressions of angiogenic molecules, such as VEGF-A, and hypoxia stimulates vasculogenesis. Hypoxia and the subsequent alteration of hypoxia-inducible factor 1A or HIF-1A can induce VEGF-A and stromal cell-derived factor 1 or SDF1, which stimulate migrations of endothelial precursor during vasculogenesis. The loss of HIF-1A results in early embryonic lethality characterized by defective vascularization of the developing embryos and yolk sac. The complete absence of HIF-2A leads to severe vascular defects in the yolk sac and embryo proper, suggesting that HIF-2A plays a critical role in controlling vascular remodeling during early embryonic development. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Margaret Jocelyn with my last digit number is 248, and now I will explain to you the abnormalities in blood vessel development. So, abnormalities in blood vessel development are a complex group of pathologies with multidisciplinary clinical manifestation and treatment. Congenital lesion as a result of error during vasculogenesis, and most commonly found in the head and neck, but they may occur in any parts of the bodies. Classified into arteriovenous, venous, capillary, and lymphatic vessel based on their predominant vessel, and they may appear in various types depending on malformation, location, size, and relationship to other structures, resulting in symptoms such as ischemic swelling, pain, thrombosis, deformity, and functional impairment. When you diagnose this, we can use clinical presentation and complementary imaging techniques. Thank you.
My name is Ayu Karralika Raidinjana with the last digit number 246, and I will be explaining about the future perspective of blood vessel development. The blood vessel's constriction increases the demand for small diameter vascular graft or SDVGs, and the significant risk factors for cardiovascular disease development are the contemporary way of life, greater working hours, stress, insufficiency physical exercise, smoking compromise, and blood vessel compatibility. Disadvantages result including ossified initiation, intima hyperplasia, lumen constriction, platelet aggregation, and thrombus establishment could happen because of mismatch between native and implanted grafts. Therefore, alternative strategies should be searched. Observations of the development of the responsible vessel supplementing the nutrients known as the vasa vasorum into the transplanted vascular grafts has been done by several research groups. That is all for my explanation, and the rest will be continued by my friend.
My name is Fricillia Wijaya with last three-digit name 236. I will explain the Chapter 3 summary of our student project. So there are 4 points that can summarize our student project. First, blood vessels are made up of approximately 60,000 miles of blood vessels that carry blood throughout the body and supply blood to all organs and tissues. So that reminds us that blood vessels are really important for our body. Second, blood vessels are composed of 3 layers of tissue, intima, media, and adventitia. Third, there are 3 types of blood vessels that play a very special role. There are arteries, veins, and capillaries. And the last is the formation of the vascular network in the embryo is carried out by 2 different mechanisms, angiogenesis and vasculogenesis. That's all, and the next will explain by my friend.
That is all from small group discussion B10.
Thank you for your attention, and we will close it with Paramasanti. Om Santi 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 Om.